over to Mr. Levitt.
Well, thank you for that, Mr. Heshmati. James Dean Levitt. I'm currently the chairman of the Board of Regents. It's an absolute honor and privilege to be here. 6 years ago, I ran for this position against an incumbent and 4 others, and we were aggressive, and that was at the height of the dysfunction on the Board of Regents, if you recall. We had the new chancellor at that time, Jim Rogers, and there was lots of commotion on the board at that time. I'm proud to say that we're now looked at as one of the most civil, restrained collegial bodies in the entire state, and I'd like to think I had a little bit to do with that. I was elected last June unanimously for the first time in probably over 30 years by my colleagues. And in 1950, the Nevada legislature made this a nonpartisan board, and that was one of the most sanguine things that we did here. But just briefly, I've been practicing law here for 20 years. Began my career with Neil Gallitz, the most preeminent personal injury attorney in Las Vegas. I then spent a year with Oscar Goodman. All of you know who he is now, and just had fantastic experience. I then taught at UNLV for 5 years, and right now feel just extremely well positioned to advance the interests of higher education moving forward. This is the most difficult and challenging time in the history of higher education. We faced budget cuts of just awesome proportions, and so we have a lot of preaching to do. We have a lot of problems to solve, and we're going to do that with consensus building, of collaboration, and we're going to be vigorous. We're going to tell our message to the legislature that we do not believe that we or K-12 are adequately funded.
Well said, Mr. Levitt. My name is Parvis Heshmati. I'm also running for University Board of Regents District 13. I started attending UNLV when I was 17 years old. I graduated from Bishop Gorman High School. I'm a longtime resident of Nevada. I obtained my accounting degree in 2004 from UNLV. I then went on to the William S. Boyd School of Law. I graduated there in 2008, took the Nevada bar, passed my first time, as you would hope for a candidate of University Board of Regents. I then went on into private practice. I do primarily criminal defense. One of the reasons I'm running, now Mr. Levitt is doing a fantastic job. The reason I'm running, and I can't say anything bad about him, I have to run against him. He's the chair of the board, and it's my district. A couple changes that I think I would want to make, and these are the problems that I saw as a student going to UNLV. I was there for 8 years. Now, a lot of those haven't been addressed, and I would like to address those today, so thank you for allowing me to come here. Thank you for letting me speak to you, and I appreciate it.
Hello, gentlemen. I'm Chris Steele, and I work with well, actually, I'm a businessman, I own several businesses in the community, but I work with the UNLV Center for Entrepreneurship, and I've got an ideal that the university can be stronger and more powerful than it is right now, and I'm sure you all share that same ideal. UNLV is famous for basketball, and the fact that Rob Lowe and Oxford Blues said they had a rowing team here. But beyond that, the stigma that UNLV seems to have around the country, based on my travels, is one of a UNLV, it's not known, and it doesn't seem as respected. And again, I'm sure you can resonate with this to some extent. That's one of the reasons you're jumping into office, to try to help build the esteem and the credibility of the school. And me as a local businessman, I'm all about that. So I know we've actually had some pretty good discussions for a good run of the day around some of the problems that are happening there. You know, the fiefdoms, the siloing, the self-serving dynamics. So can you each address the one problem that you think the university, UNLV specifically, faces, and why you're the most uniquely qualified to solve it?
Well, first of all, I don't think there's just one problem, and I appreciate you limiting to that in the interest of time. But as you know, you build programs one program at a time, and certainly if you want to look at the law school, for example, it has done absolutely remarkable in its short existence. And you do that with the proper funding. You do that when you hire the proper dean. You look at Hotel College Administration, next to Cornell, ranked number 1, 2 in the country, and you build programs one at a time. And you do that in large part with private philanthropy, and you do it with you got to be strategic. You've got to be focused, and again, you've got to decide which are the programs that have most interest. Now, what's interesting about entrepreneurialism, it's never been more needed right now. And as you know, at UNLV, we just finished the $500 million capital campaign. And how impressive was that when we saw legendary generosity during some of the most difficult times economically. So, but you're right, and you know, we have the situation with where we're cutting budgets, but on the same time, we need to inspire those that are producing their own grants. And certainly we want to be mindful of that. You look at the solar hub that Senator Harry Reid is trying to locate. at the Harry Reid Research Park. So it's absolutely fantastic what we're doing at UNLV. And again, you build it one program at a time. And you know, when people talk to me about the stigma of UNLV, I turn around and talk about what university in this country has done more in its 50 years existence, the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
I'll just directly answer your question. I think the number one problem we face at UNLV is student pride. A lot of kids come to UNLV, they feel no pride when they graduate. We need to make it a place, a community. We need more students to live on campus. We need to increase the level of graduates that stay in Nevada. We're getting a lot of people from out of state and they're leaving. As you know, Nevada, we have a very low percentage of professionals in our state. And in order to boost our economy, we have to put higher education first. If we can make it that graduates from UNLV are in high demand across the nation, more people will come, it will stimulate our economy, and it will foster growth in Nevada.